this was actually a very major thing to say, that there's some party to this suit that has not been named yet. And we should have focused more on that language, because what on earth are they talking about? Who's missing? Who's joining in as a potential willing plaintiff to this case? And we have an answer. As I said, we had a TikToker who had some tea. We had some TikTok tea on this.
What happens when Hollywood's golden girl becomes its biggest scandal? Imagine a world where Blake Lively, the queen of charm, wit, and seemingly flawless perfection, is suddenly exposed as something far darker. That's exactly what happened when Robert Downey Jr., one of Tinseltown's most respected icons, dropped a series of explosive revelations about her.
Essentially, he says she didn't even read the book before signing on to the project. Then she read the book and kind of became consumed with it, and wanted to basically introduce her own lines and wanted to become a part of the project and rework the script.
These so-called receipts didn't just shake her foundation, they brought it crumbling down. So, what are these secrets? And why did they hit so hard? Could this be the end of Blake Lively as we know her? Or is there more to the story than meets the eye? Let's dive in and buckle up, because this gets wild.
He's like a TikTok with the receipts, read every single line of it like I did. And he put in part this like 9-part series, which is amazing work done, doing a deep dive on what exactly was in Justin Baldoni's case that made him turn and realize that Blake Lively was not telling the truth, and that it was going to be a very steep climb for them. Should we now begin feeling bad for Blake Lively because she appeared at her Simple Favor 2 premiere, and people are noting that she seems increasingly uncomfortable and anxious, and maybe it really is just a lot for her to deal with. So we should discuss that. Should we be more compassionate toward Blake Lively? Let's jump right into this. Welcome back to Candace.
Let's start with the man himself, Robert Downey Jr., known for his resilience, magnetic presence, and sharp intellect. RDJ isn't someone who throws accusations lightly, but according to reports, he unveiled evidence that painted Blake Lively in an entirely new light. We're talking manipulation of media narratives, allegedly twisting stories to fit her agenda, attempts to sabotage careers, like throwing shade at Justin Baldoni behind the scenes. Even whispers of misconduct, behaviors that could make your jaw drop, while the specifics remain unclear.
Else, who is very connected to this, reached out and said, Candace, you're 90% there. You're just missing one thing. And I'm beginning to wonder, and listen, full speculation, no proof, for him to go that crazy.
One thing is certain, this wasn't idle gossip. It was enough to send shockwaves through Hollywood, leaving everyone questioning how Lively had kept her polished image intact for so long. But here's the kicker. Why would RDJ risk his reputation to expose her?
Blake Lively wants to be prominently featured, and then she gets herself into this huge situation worldwide. She is sort of despised alongside her husband. And now you've got to recognize that this movie's probably not going to do so well.
Is it personal, or does he see her actions as a threat to the integrity of the industry? Think about it. If someone like RDJ steps forward, you know it's serious. And trust me, this was only the tip of the iceberg. If RDJ's receipts were the spark, the lawsuit against Justin Baldoni was the wildfire, allegedly accusing him of wrongdoing. Lively tried to frame herself as the victim while portraying Baldoni as the villain. But here's the twist. The judge didn't buy it, not even for a second. In a crushing blow, the court dismissed her claims, essentially telling the world that her story didn't hold water. This ruling wasn't just a legal loss, it was a fatal blow to her credibility. Suddenly, outlets began digging deeper. Fans started doubting her, and her once loyal supporters turned their backs. But wait, what if this lawsuit wasn't just about money or fame? What if it was a power play, a desperate attempt by Lively to control the narrative before it spiraled out of her grasp? And let's not forget, if she really thought she could win, why did she lose so spectacularly? If you think that sounds bad, wait until you hear what happened next. When the walls came crashing down, Blake Lively reportedly lost all composure. Sources claim she screamed at her team, blaming them for failing to protect her image. She allegedly lashed out at Baldoni's camp, accusing them of playing dirty. There were even rumors of tantrums so intense that assistants and producers fled the room. Industry insiders whispered about her sense of entitlement, calling her a privileged brat. Every outburst made headlines, further tarnishing her already fragile reputation. But here's the real question. Was this meltdown born out of fear or arrogance? Did she truly believe she was untouchable? Or was she terrified of losing everything she'd worked for? One thing's for sure, by the time the dust settled, she wasn't just damaged, she was radioactive. And Hollywood? Well, Hollywood had plans of its own. In an industry built on optics, being labeled toxic is a death sentence. Studios quietly removed Lively from casting lists. Directors stopped returning her calls. Even powerhouse PR firms refused to work with her, deeming her image unsalvageable. Perhaps most telling was Ryan Reynolds' silence. Once her biggest cheerleader, he reportedly distanced himself, choosing instead to shield his own career. For Lively, this marked the end of an era. But pause for a moment. What does this say about loyalty in Hollywood? When push comes to shove, do allies really stand by you? Or do they cut ties to save themselves? And what does it mean for Lively's marriage if even Ryan Reynolds can't or won't defend her publicly? No red carpets, no blockbusters, no second chances, just a slow fade into obscurity. Or so it seemed. While Lively spiraled, Justin Baldoni emerged stronger than ever. Unlike his counterpart, Baldoni stayed composed, presenting facts rather than emotion. His calm demeanor won over critics and fans alike, turning him into an unlikely hero. Conservative commentators, who typically avoid Hollywood drama, praised his professionalism. Meanwhile, insiders began viewing him as more bankable, a stark contrast to Lively's crumbling empire. Here's the million-dollar question. Is Baldoni's rise purely accidental, or did he strategically position himself to capitalize on this chaos? Either way, the contrast between him and Lively couldn't be starker. As one door closed for her, another opened wide for him. But let's not forget, every rise has a fall. And in this case, it was Blake who took the hardest hit. So, where does this leave Blake Lively? Between RDJ's damning receipts, the judge's brutal ruling, and her own self-destructive behavior, her career appears to be in freefall. Hollywood moves fast, and forgiveness is rare. Redemption might still be possible, but it would require more than apologies. It would take a miracle. For now, though, one thing is clear. Perception is everything in Hollywood. And right now, Blake Lively has none. What do you think? Can she recover? Or is this truly the end of an era? Let us know in the comments below. And hey, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, because we're diving deep into all the juiciest scandals Hollywood has to offer. You won't want to miss what's coming next.